everyone. Welcome to Stories from the Other Side. So I want to tell you about a business that I did a clearing for. So an energetic clearing. So this is kind of a complicated, convoluted story, but this was one of the most profound clearings I've ever done. So I went to this business and was going through several rooms just to see what the energy felt like, and I tapped in on a few things before I got there that I could feel and see. But when I got there, I went into one large room that had a large mirror, and mirrors are very easy, I guess, objects for portals to be created. So mirrors, the portals can open in mirrors, basically. So when I looked through this mirror, I saw what looked like, people from this planet. They were dressed a little differently, though. And it almost looked like a train station, but it looked slightly different. So it looked like Earth, but not really. And I couldn't figure out what I was looking at. And I noticed that the beings on that side of the mirror could not see us at all, or could not see on the other side, didn't know we were there. There were a few discarnate beings who I sent on their way, and, of course, gave them the option to cross or just leave and go back to their density or their dimension, and cleared a little bit of energy. And then I solidified this mirror. And I was really confused as to what I was looking at or why I was seeing what I was seeing. So I left that room, went around to some of the other rooms on the other side of the building, and I went into one room and I saw a discarnate spirit that was a Roman guard. And he was basically like guarding this room. And when I looked into this room, I could see 4 or 5 galactic beings, different beings. They weren't the same. And I found that really odd. Usually you don't see all these different galactic beings together. And they were scientists. Basically, that's what I could see. They were doing some sort of a science experiment. But of course, I didn't know what that was. And they were also covering up a portal that was in the corner. So I closed the portal. I changed the energy of the room, basically. That's how you get them to basically go away. Because I didn't feel like they were nefarious or negative, but I felt like they were just not there for the highest good of humanity. So whatever it is they were working on was not for the highest good of humanity, but for them, they were just very detached from humanity in general. So just kind of, I would call them kind of neutral. But what they were doing was not good. So I cleaned and cleared all that, and then continued on into the rooms. And then I went into one small room. And there was a chair in this room, and I could see something really, well, I knew that there was something very heavy on this chair, but I couldn't figure out what it was. And I was really confused why I couldn't see it. And I use tuning forks and some bowls when I do clearings. And so I decided to just bang my real high frequency tuning forks. And when I did, I saw this black box. This is what was sitting in that chair. It was a black box, and it was rectangle in shape, and it had these gray X's on each side. And I said, "What the heck is that?" And before I could finish that sentence, Archangel Michael, I called him in, of course, to help protect and be there just in case. He got rid of that thing right away, and it disappeared. And I said, "Why did you do that? I wanted to see what it was." And he told me, "You don't want to see what that is." So I said, "Okay." So then cleared that room. I was still a little confused as to how all of what I saw tied together. Usually when I clear a place, you can tell how everything ties together, everything you see. So it was really odd. So then I I left and I went to the coffee shop next door with a friend of mine. And as I was sitting there drinking a coffee, I got a massive download. And what I saw was what I would call a tall white, so a negative gray. And he was in that room standing over that box. And basically, the whole scenario came into play. So this place was a spa, and sometimes with spas you have a lot of emotion, right? So they were using a lot of that emotion in this experiment. They understood that your holographic reality, or what shows up for you, is based on how you feel. So you are the designer of what shows up in your life, or what you see. And so what they were doing was they were manipulating people to see what their holographic realities would show up as. And all of these men in that room, they weren't men, all of these galactics that were in that room, when I saw them, those scientists, they were part of this grand experiment. And then I saw what they showed me again was that room with the mirror. What I was seeing was a parallel reality. So it was basically a parallel Earth. And what they were doing was they were trying to see if what they were doing in this business would affect a parallel reality. It was so interesting. Oh, it just blew me away when I got that download. So yeah, so that was my experience with that clearing. I think I know for a fact to this day that it is still clear and it's still good. So yeah, so interesting stuff, huh? All right, we'll see you at the next stories from the other side. Thanks, everybody.